the batting department of Delhi Capitals, there's nothing. I mean, Shikha got 200s, but in the last 6 games, you can't really pick out anyone and say, listen, those are the guys who've got some form. There's no one else there. Shreyas Iyer hasn't really done anything. Rishabh Pant hasn't done anything. Hetmeyer hasn't really. Stoinis has gone off the boil. And it's almost been passed over to the bowlers as well. They've tended to lose a little bit of confidence. And the concerning thing for me on the bowling front is that at the start of the tournament, when you get whacked, there was a couple of the South Africans sort of standing in the middle of the pitch looking at the batsman going, oh, okay, fine, that's fine. Now it's almost like they just turn around and go back to the mark, because it's become almost something like they're expecting to be put on the back foot. So that mindset worries me, but also the form of the individuals. You don't just find form at the back end of a tournament.
Yeah, 4 losses on the trot, Joy, and that's really going to hurt. Just to confirm to you before you respond to that, yes, they have fallen below Kings 11 Punjab in terms of the net run rate, just as we feared. And this is the 4 consecutive losses, that one match coming against a team who, well, always will be competitive. Never an easy team to play against, Bangalore. But Joy, how do they deal with this mentally more than anything?
See, Delhi has done this before. I mean, the most spectacular flame out in IPL history was Delhi 7-3 in 2010, lose their last 4, end up 7-7, and get knocked out of the tournament on run rate. So it's happened. They have history there, which is, I mean, they'll be thinking about it now, because, at 7-3 you don't, 7-4 you don't, 7-5 you suddenly said, you know what, this is not going the right way. At 7-6 you are beginning to really get worried. Look, I think the problem for me is exactly what Sean has said. It's less about what they're doing as a unit in terms of batting and bowling. It is, of course, but it's also the body language, which just seems defeated right now. I mean, I don't mind Prithvi Shaw getting out, but the kind of shot that Prithvi Shaw got out on, his head was all over the place. He was trying to swing it too early. And, that I could still understand if that was his first shot. He's already got a couple of boundaries. He can now afford to sort of start choosing his shots, and he didn't. Rishabh, again, a dominator like Rishabh, I think they bowled beautifully to him, but they just didn't allow Rishabh to play his game. And I think that's the thing that's happening. People are discovering, or they've researched Rishabh, they've researched the way he plays. They know that he likes to sort of roll over and hit it over mid-wicket. They're not allowing him that shot, and they're doing it so very well. I think that's one thing that Mumbai is doing very well. A lot of calmness, and I mean, Sean will know that they're a team that make great plans. A lot of planning seems to have gone into how they're approaching the batsmen, every team they play.
Joy, just to finish up on Delhi, the feeling in the dugout. I mean, you've been there at good times and bad times. They've got some stalwarts in there, the likes of Mohammad Kaif, Ricky Ponting, and so many others. What is the message going to be to these boys?
I think it's very important what message they give, because see, Delhi last year were coming off 4, 5, 6 defeats of years of bad. So even getting into the semi-finals was a big thing for them. So they weren't particularly concerned that they didn't make it to the finals or they didn't do particularly well. This year, after the way they started, after their acquisitions, there's a lot of pressure on them. And I think it's not just a question of how the coaches and management, the coaches perform and how they do their job. It's how management takes it. This is a new management. They're not used to situations like this. They haven't faced these situations. Those were pre-2018, 2018 and days before that. So how they react to adversity will be very important. If they're calm and they say, we have our fate in our hands. Whatever happens, we win this match, we're through. Very few other teams can say that. Only SRH and us can say that our fate is in our hands. Let's go and just play good cricket and do it. I think they need to be calm, and it comes from the ownership. It's not just about the coaches, it's about the ownership.